Also, didn't Africans sell their own people to America as slaves? Yes, but Africans at that time didn't really view themselves as one people, right? So, for the same reasons that Germans and the French don't.
You know why I don't like talking about slavery, especially the slavery that happened during the European era? Because they were not the first people to even try to conquer Africa. They were Asians, and before that they were Arabs, you know. So I don't really like to talk about slavery because we do not get to the root problem. We always start with the European slavery because that's what we are taught. We are not taught everything. We are not told everything. We are not educated enough to have this conversation. Even those that think they are educated, they are usually second annoying the rest of us. So this young man, this American man, said we were literally playing forward stupid. We did not know what we were doing until Europeans arrived, in simple terms. But anyways, guys, I have this video to speak for myself, to speak for everyone, and yeah, let's watch the video.
Also, didn't Africans sell their own people to America as slaves? Yes, but Africans at that time didn't really view themselves as one people, right? So, for the same reasons that Germans and the French don't view themselves as the same people, Africans at that time did not view themselves as the same people. I'm not even sure if they knew there were other races of people. So with that being said, right, they were capturing each other, enslaving each other, or capturing each other and selling them to other people for different types of goods. Now, does it make it right? No. Is there an excuse for it? No. Do many Black Americans a day want to just nicely gloss over that like that never happened? Yes. And again, so many people in today's society want to act as if white people were the only people to do anything bad ever, and that's not the truth. So for educational purposes, let's go through some history. Okay, so for starters, we all know what happened in Germany. We all know who did it, Germans. Okay, but what about the Armenian genocide in 1915 to 1923? Or the Rwandan genocide in 1994? Or the Cambodian genocide in 1975? Well, really, it was between 1975 and 1979. My point is, every race of people seemingly have done terrible things. So I do not understand why we only want to act like white people were the only people to ever do anything, because all you got to do is pick up a history book or Google some stuff and you will see that it's not even close to true. And I just gave you a couple examples. There are probably hundreds of them. So again, let's realize that all races of people have done bad things, and let's move on and let's start building our lives together. It's not that difficult. I don't know why so many people want to complicate it and turn things that don't need to be issues into issues. Okay, and also go back to the beginning of the video when I was talking about Africans not viewing themselves as the same people. What I was trying to say is that skin color wasn't really something that tied them together, for lack of better terms. So it wasn't as much of importance then as it is today with a lot of races.
Oh, stop right there. Stop right there. How are you going to say that Africans sold their own people into slavery? For starters, where did Africans put the money they got from selling slaves? When you use a Rwanda genocide to prove the fact that Africans hated each other, this is why they used to sell each other. But what you don't understand is every single tribal war that was in Africa was organized, funded, and sparked off by the white colonizers. European colonizers made sure that in order for Africans to be governed and sold, they had to be divided on tribal lines. For that fact, the belligerents in Rwanda made sure they categorized people according to their own appearances. The Tutsis were the bosses, were the leaders, while the Hutus were the subordinates. So what they do is they go to the Tutsis and tell them, you are the kings. They go to the Tutsis and tell them, those guys are kings, you need to become kings. In fact, these videos, you can look them up. The belligerents started measuring Rwandese according to their nose. The appearance of the nose tells the tribe. And then they issue a card or an identification to prove that you belong to this tribe and you belong to this tribe. And once they divided these people successfully, they started telling this side, you are the kings. This side, you are the kings. These people started to hate each other. And the hate is still on up to this day. When these Africans started hating each other, it was easy for them to be ruled and governed, and if there was a way how they could be sold into slavery, it was super easy. How are you going to blame that on Africans? Now, I have watched so many videos from your page You sound super intelligent. I don't understand how you become so uneducated in this era where you can almost find the information all over your phone. It is no secret that Europeans don't want to take responsibility for what they did. So what they do is they're playing a blame game by blaming Africans that they sold their own people. I want you to tell me which race took another race as slaves. I just want you to tell me which race was taken as slaves by black people. How are you going to say the misunderstandings between black people is the same as being taken as slaves by another race? So, for your education purposes, the Rwanda genocide of 1994 was a symptom for a disease that was bled in 1950 by the white colonizers, aka the Belgians. Now, I don't know so much history about African American. I've just read and I've seen African Americans saying that during slavery, there were two types of slaves: the house slaves and the field slaves. The field slaves were the rebellious ones, that's why they had to work so much, grind in the field. The house slaves were the ones who were pleasing their master. They're saying when the master was sick, all the slaves would say, "We are sick." You sound like one of those people.